If you're feeling contented today, stick around and I'll take care of that for you. Welcome to Sobriety Snippets for Women Over 40, where we elevate our mindset and trade hangovers for higher consciousness, one powerful snippet at a time. I'm Becca Jacobson, and this is what we call a snippet. Welcome to Snippet Land, gals. If you're new around here, welcome home. This is where you belong if you're a woman over 40 struggling with alcohol. And to all my lovely, amazing gals who hang out with me here in Snippet Land, hi, gals, welcome back. You know, quite often I will hear women say, I should be happy. I have everything going for me. Even with the struggle with alcohol, our lives are usually not that bad. It depends. And we've got things together and stuff's happening, and we've got our career, our families. Many of us have accomplished a lot, and yet we're not contented. And I hear women actually say those words, I really should be happy. Well, think about that. I should be happy. Who said you should be happy? Who gets to decide that you should be happy? Gals, today I want to introduce the idea of divine discontentment. Divine discontent. And I'm calling it divine discontent because I believe that if you're discontented, it is a message from the universe. It is not you just being dissatisfied and wanting more. It's not you being greedy. It's not you saying, I want more, I don't have enough. It's something deep inside of you whispering, there's more for me. And sometimes we mistake that for, I really should be happy. Look at everything I have here. It's a subtle ache. We feel it and we're not quite sure what to do with it. And instead we push it away and say, you should be happy. And we use alcohol to numb this discontent. Now, granted, I'm not discounting the real trauma, real emotional disturbances, real issues that we have in our lives. But we really want to discriminate and recognize when this is just a subtle nudging towards something more in our lives. Divine discontent. You can recognize it as sort of a low-grade restlessness around 5 p.m. where you're like, why can't I just relax? It's the end of the day. Of course, habit comes into play there, and we get triggered naturally right around wine o'clock. But it's this sense that something is missing, even when everything basically looks fine. Remember this, gals, alcohol doesn't create this discontent, but it anesthetizes it. So it numbs it. So we were like, okay, well, you know what? I really should be happy and I feel discontented. Let me just have a couple of glasses of wine and this smooth off the edges, go to bed and do this all over again tomorrow. Today, I want to tell you that if you feel an underlying low-grade discontentment with your life, it's very possible that the universe is saying, my dear, there's more for you. Wake up. Do not be contented with this. And I mean with whatever you might have. So we could look at me as an example. My life was a total disaster until my early 30s. And then, as you know, if you've been around for a while, up till about the age of 32, my life was a true and honest disaster. I was a prostitute, an exotic dancer, which means stripper. Drugs, alcohol, that whole thing. But at 32, long story short, I turned my life around, started going to college. 4 years later, went to grad school. Out of grad school, got a job at a local college. Now I'm the college professor. Then I get married to my dream man, my second husband. We get the home. And there I am with this life that is on the outside. Look what you've accomplished, Becca. Look what you've done. But gals, I drank through all of that and I was very discontented. And I was saying to myself, you really should be happy. I mean, look how you've turned your life around. And people would say that to me. Look what you've done, Becca. And I was not miserable, but discontented. Now, why? I believe that it was divine discontent. And I couldn't see it then, but I can see it now looking back. So I drank. I drank through 15 years as a college professor. And then when I finally got sober in 2018, I stayed at that job for 5 more years and finally took early retirement to come here and be with you. But let's get back to the point. Your life might very well look just fine. In fact, better than fine. But if it doesn't feel like it's enough, I really want you to consider whether or not that's a message that you've been ignoring. Now, this discontent feels very uncomfortable. Do not take it lightly. It disrupts the identity that you've been managing. So there you are thinking of yourself as this woman who's got it together. I've got the life, and yet I'm not satisfied. So it disrupts that identity. It threatens our stability. It asks us to grow when we'd really prefer to just be comfortable. That's an important point right there. If you're saying, I really should be happy, what you're saying is, this should be enough. And yet it isn't. It's nagging you, poking at you, whispering in your ear, it's not enough, it's not enough. And you're like, what are you, greedy? What do you expect? There are people in this world who don't even have running water. What is your problem, girl? The problem could very well be that you were meant for more, my dear. Divine Discontent says, you're ready for deeper. You've outgrown this. You're capable of more. There is more for you. And if you're in snippet land, it whispers, this can be the most satisfying, nourishing chapter of your life, and you're not there yet. And that's the voice of Becca whispering. And I do that intentionally. I want you discontented. Yeah, I said it. I want you discontented. Because when we're comfortable, we are all in what I call the big fat rut. I'm glad you're discontented, my dear, because we should never stop. Never, never, never. The only time I want you stopping is when you trip, fall, and tumble into your grave. There, I'm done. But until then, you don't have to be striving and creating a life that is nothing but effort. But we should be growing. And if we're in a rut, if we're stuck in this place where I should be satisfied, I should be happy, it means we're stuck in a rut. It really does, gals. Now let's talk about the difference between discontent and dissatisfaction. This is an important point here. Dissatisfaction complains. Divine discontent calls. Dissatisfaction is a whiny, self-pitying voice. It really is. You got more. Why is nobody loves me. I'm going to go to the garden and eat worms now because nobody loves me. Dissatisfaction is very, very different, gals. Dissatisfaction is not even appreciating what you do have. In fact, the woman who's dissatisfied never says, I should be happy. She just looks around and goes, I deserve more and people should be giving it to me. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a divine discontent that whispers. Dissatisfaction drains us. Divine discontent invites us. One says, this isn't enough. The other says, you, my dear, are not done becoming. There is more for you. And that is not greed. Hear me. That is not greed. Now, what does sobriety have to do with this? Where does sobriety fit into this? Many women don't quit drinking because things are terrible. Terrible, terrible, terrible. They quit because something inside them says this version of you is a smaller one than the one waiting. They quit drinking because they realize there's more for them. They are heeding the call of divine discontent. They are heeding that call. They're not ignoring it. They're not drowning it in wine. They're saying, wait, there's more for me. I don't know what it is. By the way, note that, gals. You don't have to know what it is. You don't have to have some big plan. In fact, it might not even be big in the world's eyes. It is for you. For each of us, it's individual, and it's very powerful and very important to each of us. And it doesn't matter what it looks like externally. But those who decide to enter sobriety at this stage of our lives are the women who are saying, I want more in this chapter of my life, and I'm going to step up to that. Otherwise, we stay in our comfort zone, which is nothing more than a rut. If we're not growing forward, we're in a rut. I will say that. I don't like absolutes, Everybody does this and nobody does that, absolutes. But in this case, if you're not growing, you're in a rut, even if it's a rut that looks nice and shiny on the outside. So sobriety, instead of something that we have to grab onto and try to white knuckle our way through, sobriety is a way of honoring that nudge, a way of saying there's more for me. Sobriety is a refusal to sedate your own expansion. Sobriety is a decision to trust the whisper over the whine. And that is why I'm here. You know, as we start getting up there, we're past 40, we passed 50, we passed 60, we finally start telling the truth, or at least I hope so. Of course, there are always those of us who will continue to lie to ourselves, but I'm talking to those of you who are ready to start telling the truth about your life. The roles we play don't hold the same weight. The distractions don't distract as well, and this voice gets louder. And we think that it's just a voice of alcohol saying drink. It's a voice of greediness, a voice of dissatisfaction. But my dear, listen carefully and ask yourself, is this dissatisfaction or divine discontent? So it's time to start paying attention. What am I actually experiencing here? Is it an overload of wine that I've just got to get out of my life? Of something isn't right here. When we remove the wine, we get clarity. No, not in the first couple of weeks, granted, but it comes, it really does. And we don't enter sobriety with a plan. We don't say, I have this plan for my life between now and the end. Becca said, I need to make this a good chapter. So here, I'm going to map out a plan, put down the wine, and here's my... We don't do that, and we don't even know what's going to happen. I'm here to tell you that this is a very exciting adventure. When you enter sobriety, my dear, amazing things will happen, and you don't need to know in advance what they are. I never could have guessed where my life would have gone in 2018 when I took my last drink. All I wanted was to get sober. My life was pretty bad. And instead, divine discontent has been gently guiding me through these last 7 years, coming up on 8, towards a life that I never imagined. I mean, let's put it this way. I'm an English professor. I've got this really good gig at a local college. It's a small college. I'm not pressured to research, which was good because I never wanted to be a researcher. I'm a teacher, in case you haven't noticed. I'm good at it. And there I am. It's a good gig, right? It's got a nice benefits. It's secure. It's a union gig. You know, I'm pretty secure, right? It's a career where people would look to me and say, wow, you know, good for you. Look what you've done. And I believed that too. I thought, man, I got to hold on to this. This is amazing. And yet I was drinking and risking it all. But my point here is, it turns out that it wasn't. It wasn't me. It wasn't who I was supposed to be. In my 3rd year of sobriety, I suddenly woke up and looked around and went, good gig or not, this is not what I want to be when I grow up. And I never would have dreamed that I would say that. I would have said, no, hold on to that job. That's a good job, Becca. Hold on to it. But instead, I looked around and I realized this is not what I'm meant to do. Now, I'm not saying you're going to change jobs or change partners or anything like that. I'm saying this. Something is waiting for you. I promise you something is waiting for you. And it is very personal and very, very profound. Because when you start experiencing it, you'll know. You'll know this is what she meant when she said, this chapter of my life could be the best, because you start feeling like you're doing what you were meant to do. You no longer feel discontented. You no longer feel the pull of what the hell is wrong with me? Why can't I settle into this life? Because you're growing, and you're growing in the direction you were meant to grow. So gals, give this some thought, and here are a couple journal prompts for you today. What would change for you if you saw your restlessness as sacred? Where in your life do you feel a gentle ache? What have you been numbing instead of listening? And if that discomfort was guiding you, where might it be pointing? Now, in that last prompt, be careful. We don't need to know the exact direction, but it might be pointing somewhere. Just start paying attention. Start being a little more honest with yourself. What is going on here? Am I just dissatisfied, or am I divinely discontented? Gals, if you want to come deeper into snippet land and you're not hearing from me every day, yes, you can hear from me every day, go to the show notes today, tap the link, and I will start sending you the Saturday Smiles, along with the Sober Living Letters, which come out on Sundays and more. On the days that I'm not publishing the snippets, I'm publishing YouTube videos, and on the other days, I'm sending you goodies into your inbox, and I never, ever send junk. So make sure you're hearing from me. And if you can't find those show notes, I love that. Women will get a hold of me and say, where are the show notes, Becca? That's okay. You don't need to know. You can just email me at beccajacobson.com and just ask me for the Saturday smiles. Thanks for popping in. Be sure to come back next time so I can keep your head on straight. Sending you buckets of love.